Hello, and in this blog what I want to do is to introduce you to a new part of the Pro section, which is going to be covering photography. So Paul's been doing some lessons today, so just want to run through some of what you've covered, Paul.
Yeah, the idea was that rather than do a course about photography, where we try and teach you how to use a camera and talk about complicated things like aperture and depth of field and all those kind of technical things. The idea was that we just wanted to give a very practical step-by-step guide to producing really basic but effective photos of your cakes that you can do with no money, essentially. It's actually all done on a mobile phone, so we're not even using an expensive camera, and hopefully you'll be quite impressed with the results that you can get, hardly spending anything and having no skill whatsoever as well.
Which is always handy.
Which is handy, yeah. Well, I think, if like you've mentioned, and I think I've mentioned in the Internet Marketing Pro video that I've done, and with our own business, when you're running a small business, it's the same with us as it will be for many of you guys that are running a cake decorating business, is that you can't be an expert in everything that you need to do. So you can either get someone else to do it, or you can maybe get 80% of the way there without having to spend too much or learn too much. And that's the idea of this course. It's not to make you an expert photographer. It's just to give you one way of getting really good photos. And I use these techniques. I use a different camera, but it's exactly the same setup for a lot of our pictures, and I point that out during the course. But hopefully it'll be helpful. But from your point of view, when you were running a cake decorating business, what were your sort of experiences with photography, and how important was it for you guys?
Absolutely. I just wish I'd seen what I've seen this afternoon 10 years ago, because when we started, we were making some fantastic cakes. Paul and the team were, we'd be rushing to get them all out in the deadline. They'd be looking absolutely superb, and the very last minute we would have a thought, let's take a photo. So we snapped a photo, and we've got some fantastic cakes. I remember the dragon cake most particularly, this fantastic cake that had taken about 3 or 4 days to put together, and it was taken on a freezer top with a breeze block brick background, and it just did it no justice whatsoever. So just a little bit of what you've explained today would have made that cake, it wouldn't have taken a huge amount of time or effort, and certainly no more money than we'd already spent to get that effect. And I think that's the
the idea. I remember the pirate ship course, which is it's one of my favourite courses on the site. If you've not checked it out, you should go and check it out. But I took the picture for that, and it was back when the website was very different, the branding was very different. I wasn't, I'm not a professional photographer, it's a hobby, and I wasn't as good back then. And the picture that I took then, it's on like a black background, and for some reason we didn't keep a very high resolution image of it. And I think if we'd have done a good job of that photo, that might be one of the cakes that's on the homepage of our website, whereas it tends to be a bit buried in the site. When doing web design and stuff like that, I'm looking for good pictures, not good cakes. I'm looking for both, but I can't use a bad picture of a good cake. I would rather have a good picture of an average cake and put it on the homepage. So, that was a year and a half ago, and it just shows you that it is worth the extra effort of trying to get at least a decent photo. And in this course, you can do what you can reproduce what I'm teaching, hopefully in literally 5 minutes. So I can't stress enough how worthwhile that will be. 2 years later, you might still be using that photo rather than that cake sort of just being gone forever.
Because I often get asked about, people are spending a lot of money on websites, and should they buy, a £500-600 camera, etc., etc. But you can have the most fantastic website in the world that's all singing, all dancing, but if you put poor quality photos on it, then nobody's going to flick through. You're better, getting the photography right is so important. And before, when Paul and I were running Truly Scrumptious, and even before you came on board here, Paul, using camera terms, it just absolutely bamboozled me. But we knew how important the photography was. So something like the course that you've just done today, I think is worth its weight in gold, because you don't need any real technical knowledge. You don't need to have deep pockets, and you get that cake out the door.
Yeah.
Get that photo on the website and get it onto,
Yeah.
as you showed me, within 2 seconds it's on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. So photography now is even more important. You mentioned Facebook and taking pictures quickly and then sharing them with everybody, which is something maybe you weren't doing
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago, which is now hugely important. So yeah, hopefully it's it'll be really useful to people. We may go on to do sort of more courses that are more about photography and learning to use cameras, but it's such a massive subject. But if people are interested in that, we could do some more of that. But for now, I think just starting with you're not trying to teach you photography, just trying to get you a result that is going to be better than what you might already be doing, really.
But that's something worth mentioning as well, that we will be surveying our pro members at some point in the not too distant future, because we need the feedback to work out what pro members want to see more of on the site. And search engine optimization, photography, there's they're like full chapters, and could go on for hours and hours about them. But if that's what's desired, then I'm more than happy to do that. But I think it's been a very useful day, and hopefully this blog's been useful in letting you know just how we feel about how important photography has been. We didn't get it right at the start, which is common with a lot of things that we share in the pro membership, but with hindsight and now knowing what we know, it's certainly one of the top things, and not taking that long to get it right is an added bonus. So hopefully that's been helpful, and have a chance to hop on for pro members and have a look at this. And it's going to be certainly very worthwhile, and let's hear your feedback. Let us know how you feel about the video, and if you want more of the same, then we're happy to do it, or I say we are.
Yeah, I'd certainly like to add to it, and actually use a proper camera for a photography course, and do all that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, let us know what you'd like to see. Do you want to see more of this subject, or is that enough? And we'd be happy to do more.